we've got another entrepreneur before the break. Her name is Laura Brunning. She is brilliant. She's a fourth-year medical student, and she's going to pitch to you, if you're ready, her startup, which is called Hampshire First Aid.
Good afternoon. My name is Laura Brunning. I'm a fourth-year medic, and my startup, Hampshire First Aid, is going to revolutionise the teaching and delivery of first aid all around the country. I have been running my business for the past 3 years, and it is my absolute passion. I hope that I can get across to you today my enthusiasm and determination to grow this business. Now, first aid is generally not taught in a way where people really connect with what they're learning. It can be perceived to be a bit awkward and even a chore, which has led to the shocking statistics that 44% of expectant parents take their baby home with no basic first aid training. And 64% of people, even with first aid training, do not feel able to help in a first aid scenario due to lack of confidence in their knowledge. At the moment, first aiders are not being empowered to use their skills, and it is my mission to make first aid training high quality, fresh and enjoyable. So what do I do? Well, I mainly teach nannies and childminders their 6 or 12-hour paediatric first aid courses. And the special thing is that I teach them in their own home, therefore providing a relaxed and friendly environment to really practice the skills and to ask all the questions that they might have been too embarrassed to ask in front of a room of strangers. My proposition is to scale my single-person operation into a UK-wide enterprise by employing medical students to teach the courses. Now, I know that this is a very desirable job for medical students to have, because I've done it. It's ad hoc, it's good money, and it lends itself to the natural qualities of a future doctor. Now, in order to do this, I'm going to register myself as an assessing centre, which means that I'll be able to provide these students with the qualifications they need to become instructors. I started Hampshire First Aid in 2015, and since then I have trained over 200 nannies. I am thoroughly integrated into the network of nannies on social media. Nannies love social media. And I've taught just 200 of the 1,000 nannies in Hampshire. Now, it's not just childcare providers that we can target. It's anyone who works with children. It's teachers, instructors, nurseries, and with over 200,000 school children in Hampshire, the parental market is probably our largest. So how do we make money? Well, instructors teach an average of 3 people on each course, each paying £80, giving a total revenue of £240 per course. Of this, £60 is paid to the medical student, and around £5 is used to provide booklets and certificates. This leaves £175 gross profit per session. With a team of 12 medical students, each teaching 30 courses a year, this would generate an annual revenue of £86,400 and a gross profit of £63,000. Now, I am going to be sitting my medical finals next January, but I aim to have the Hampshire branch completely up and running with 12 medical students by the time I start my first job in August 2019. But my dream is to have every medical school in the UK with a team of students. With 33 medical schools, this modest model would train 35,000 people a year and generate over £2 million profit per year. I aim to expand the business by employing area managers, and I aim to scale immediately by adding a further 2 branches by August 2020 another 2 branches by August 2021, and then I will work full-time to recruit a new medical school every 2 months. In 5 years, we'll have 17 branches running, each earning £86,400. In 8 years, we'll have reached our target of 33 medical schools, and we'll be generating a profit of £2 million per year. I'm therefore asking for £10,000 investment for 10% of my business. With your investment, I can use the skills and qualities of medical students to equip customers with the confidence and knowledge they need to save lives when accidents happen. Thank you very much.
So, Nick, we're talking about saving people's lives here. That's quite compelling, isn't it, I think? What are your thoughts about Hampshire First Aid?
Yeah, no pressure. Well, I'm ashamed to say that I'm part of the 44% of parents who took their child home from hospital without any first aid knowledge. So I don't feel very good about that, and I might do something about it straight away.
Something you could do today.
Yeah,
absolutely. Okay, so how do you go about recruiting the medics and vetting them and making sure they're the right people?
So it would be via the medical school. So we'd send out an email, and honestly, this job would be snapped up because people are doing this voluntarily. People love teaching first aid and have other jobs like bar jobs, so they could be using their time to teach first aid. We would have no problem recruiting students.
Okay. And then customers, nannies. How do you go about finding nannies and customers?
Okay, so I know the Hampshire area very, very well. Honestly, everyone knows a nanny who's had me as a first aid instructor, and everyone remembers me because it's so unique to be taught in your own home. And my business has grown just from basically word of mouth, because people say, oh my goodness, I had a fantastic first aid course. She did it at home. I didn't have to go anywhere for it. So it's spread by that. We'll do mainly Facebook advertising and direct people to a central website. The central website will be online booking. So the area managers will just have to manage their social media, go to all the nanny fairs and things like that in their little area, and then direct people to the central website.
Okay, and the £10,000, how would you spend that money?
So that's to set up the Hampshire branch. We need just over £3,000 to get 24 mannequins. So that would be 12 babies and 12 children. And each medical student, for the sort of duration of their degree or their employment, will keep a baby and a child mannequin at their home, and they'll just be loaned. It's going to cost me about £1,000 to train as an assessing centre. So basically, because I've got level 3, I need to get level 4 in education and training to be able to teach people to have level 3, which is what you need to be an instructor. And to get level 4, I need to go and observe Pat in Romsey doing her level 3. And I also need to pay to do a little online course. And that's it. So that'll be done in July this year.
Okay.
Yeah.
And in terms of competition, obviously there's lots of organisations who go into businesses and teach first aid courses, etc. You believe the USP is going to people's houses?
Yeah, this is absolutely the way to do it. I have not had a single person who said that they'll go back and do it in a village hall next time. I'm keeping every single customer. Yeah, this is 100% the way to do it. And because first aid trainers don't actually need to have anything to do with medicine, you could just have someone who's got their level 3 in education and training, done a 3-day first aid course, but never ever treated a patient. You know, so medical students really are the sort of high quality people that are able to teach this with knowledge. So.
Hi, thank you for your presentation, Laura. It's very interesting, and it sounds like there is a need for it. I've got a couple of questions, and one is around, I can totally see the benefit of going to a house. So when you do the nannies, do you get 3 nannies in one house, basically? And is that the first question?
I've had between sort of 2 nannies to, well, I had a request yesterday for 15. And I thought, well, I can't do that. This is why this needs to happen.
Okay, my question
So it
then is,
can be
do they pay £80 per person?
Per
So if
person.
there's only one nanny, then you only get £80.
Yeah.
So then you pay the medical student 60 and there's only 20
Yeah.
profit.
Yeah.
So you said for this to work, you need at least 3 people paying £80 each. I guess another way of saying it is for wealthier families, it costs $240. If you want to do it on your own husband and wife, they can pay
Yeah.
$240 and still do it.
Absolutely.
But then, because if it's sort of, I guess most parents probably come in twos, but I was thinking if the USP is to go to someone's home and you need a minimum of 3, you already need one person out of their own home to go to a friend's home to do this.
Yeah, I mean, generally, nannies work on their own and nannies network the whole time. You know, everyone has somebody who they go to, like, play zone with or whatever. Nannies are all friends with each other, which is why they all know me through someone. So it is really easy to get 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 nannies on each course. you
Okay,
know.
and the nannies are happy to pay £80.
So
per
£80
person.
is actually a good value. People pay £80 to be one of 12 in a village hall with a teacher who might not have been treating patients before.
Okay, and then I was just wondering also so once you have medical students trained, they can basically, they qualify to go and give the certificates to say,
Yeah.
so is that how it works? Do people actually get a certificate, and is
Yeah.
that essential? It's not
Yes.
essential, so you can be a parent, not pointing fingers, you can be a parent without having having the qualification as such. So you don't really need an actual certificate, I guess, other than to make yourself feel maybe a little bit better as the student. But then if you train other medical students to conduct the course, what prevents them from going on their own and basically giving the courses directly and saying, actually, we don't need to go through you and give you commission, we can just organize this ourselves. So they get good feedback. They say to their patient, client, if you have friends, I can come and call me directly.
Yeah. So to answer both of your questions, if you want to be a childminder, you have to have a first aid course every 3 years. If you want to be a nanny registered with Ofsted, which means that the parents can pay with childcare vouchers, so most nannies are registered with Ofsted, that means that you definitely do need a first aid qualification. And these people need it every 3 years. And the second question is, yes, they could, but we'd put in the contract somewhere that for your duration of your time at Southampton Medical School, you are only to receive clients through Hampshire First Aid. And our advertising will be so widespread that people wouldn't be able to
Thank you.
go without.
Laura, a couple of questions. I always thought, I think you've done amazingly well to do all of this while you're doing your medical degree as well. I always thought medical students were really busy and they had to study hard, and then you start going to hospitals and then you're like working however many hundreds of hours a week. How can they possibly find the time to do this in between all of that?
Okay, so I have proven that there definitely is time. I haven't failed anything yet. And how it will work was the medical students will log on to the online system and they will book in the times that they are free to do first aid courses. So they can say, oh, I haven't got a clinic on Tuesday, so I'll book out from Tuesday at 12 o'clock, book that afternoon out. Oh, yeah, I haven't got anything on Saturday, I'll book Saturday out. And that way they can teach 2 courses a week, or they only need to teach 30 courses a year to be able to generate profits.
What about during exam times and things like that? Are you going to have a problem there with actually getting resources to do the training?
Well, people do still hold down part-time jobs while they're at medical school. And really, it is such a valuable job to have. I have loved every single one. And I've learned something from everyone. And it's teaching people how to relay medical knowledge. So it's useful, In our exams, we might have to explain asthma to a parent who's just had a child diagnosed with asthma. We'll have done it, so it is really useful.
Okay, and one other question. What about the sort of workplace market as well? Is there an opportunity for you to teach first aid to companies as well?
Absolutely. Do you mean nurseries, childcare, businesses, or do you mean because?
Well, I was thinking, I don't know, I was just guessing that you need to have some first aiders in your company.
Yeah.
Presumably they have to go on a kind of training course, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's sort of
with
thing.
the qualifications that I will be able to provide, first aiders are qualified to teach any first aid course. So they could go into any company, teach adult first aid, the 1-day emergency first aid at work course, which is normally what it is, the 3-day first aid at work course, which is for bigger businesses or for businesses where there's some hazard involved, such as construction, things like that. So at the moment it is paediatric first aid because that makes it an easy target market. But technically we can do any first aid. So.
No, go on, Chris.
I've got some questions, Dana, but we can go for it. Okay. So thank you very much for your pitch, first of all. I guess one of the questions that I had. Okay, so do you think that £10,000 is enough money? Because it doesn't sound like a whole lot to me. Just I know you tell me you need this and that, and it's only £10,000. In the scheme of things, it doesn't sound like a lot.
Okay. Well, it does only cost £3,000, probably not even that if we can get a deal, because we're bulk buying. So literally it costs £4,000 plus whatever we put into advertising.
Yeah, okay. And what about, and are you prepared to drop out?
No, it will absolutely help having me as a doctor, as the figurehead of this business.
Okay,
absolutely.
Okay, that's
I've got
really
so
good.
far.
Yeah, I guess it's easy for those guys to say they're going to drop out because they've only been here. They were first years. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, no.
And then the model that you took us through, the kind of like the financial model with the £240 and the £60 for the student and stuff. You said that's for a session, but how long is a session, or what is a session?
So a session
I probably wasn't following.
No,
but
that's okay. So it's a 6-hour course, which usually takes between 4 and 6 hours.
Got it. Okay, I got it. Okay, I got it. Okay. Any more questions?
Well, go on. No, so look, I think it's really interesting, but it's not really my kind of thing. But I wondered what the, because I'm not sure how far you can scale this business, but how do you see it what are you building towards here? How do you see the future? Do you see this being acquired by a training business, or have you thought about that sort of next step after you build this into a big business? What happens next?
Yeah, so I plan to be the sort of figurehead of this business for 20, 30 years. I want this to be part of my life because I have put so much work into it, and I really think that I'm the best person to take this business forward. I know how to make
Chris has got the
cohesive
microphone. I think he wants to say something.
teams.
So what I was going to say is this: I have another business that is quite similar to this. So I'm very interested to make you an offer at some point in the next few minutes. But a part of the offer is the business that I already have is actually is around care homes. It's around supplying carers for care homes and those kind of things. So I think there's quite a strong kind of synergy there. And I also have got some people or somebody kind of working on technology to help us scale that business. So I think we could also have like a tech team there. And I also have another associate who I think we'll probably bring in, who's kind of very passionate about this whole area and has a lot of experience of actually dealing with services. So I don't know about anybody else, but I think I'd like to go kind of like just by myself because I think it's kind of like because otherwise it doesn't make sense with the care home business. Do you think first of all, do you think there's kind of synergies with care homes and those sorts of things?
Absolutely. So I actually worked in a care home, and I had a first aid course taught to me there. It's an induction thing, isn't it, to be able to work there?
Yes, it is. No, that's right. That's what made me think of it, because I remember her explaining to me that the woman who runs this, that actually to become a carer, the training is actually quite short.
Really short.
Really short.
Yeah.
But the first aid was a big part of it.
Yeah. You do your 1-day emergency first aid at work.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we could definitely.
Okay. So I'd like to first of all, I think we need to think about, is 10,000 enough? Because it just doesn't sound like very much at all to me. And the second thing is, I think I'd like to take more than, quite more than 10% of the company there. But for that, you'll get my, wholehearted commitment, and somebody else who I know really well, wholehearted commitment to really help you scale the business. And I like the, I think I like these kind of businesses where you're not looking for this to resell the business. I like the idea that it just kind of rolls on, and that we're going to be, working together for 20 years or whatever.
I feel like there's. So what is the offer? Let's move to an offer, shall we?
Well,
Or are you just seeding?
my feeling is that every time I've ever seen this, most people always underestimate how much money they need. So I think if you say you need 10, I think you'd be better off to go for 20. And I'd like to take 30% of your business.
Think about that. Don't say anything
Don't say
yet.
anything yet, because
because
these guys,
we've got three other dragons here.
I can't compete with your knowledge of the sector and the synergy with the business. So I think it's a fantastic business. I am a little bit concerned for you that there'd be some unscrupulous medics out there that would see a client and maybe steal some of your business by telling that client that they can get a better price, but maybe I'm being too cynical. So I think that's a fantastic offer, which I can't compete with, so I'm out, and good luck.
Thank you very much.
I think Chris is quite keen on having you all by himself, so I'll sit out for this round.
So one day, sometime today or in the future, Sonia and I will do something together. But I just think that this one is kind of like so special to other things I have got going on that I'd like to kind of be, doing it by myself, or I might have somebody else to kind of cut in. But people who are kind of passionate about the field.
Yeah. No. Okay. Enough. No. I'm out. Go for it.
So wait. So we haven't made a deal yet. It's now for you to. What do you do? Turn around on your own? I'm not sure what happens. Have a little think. So the offer on the table, which is negotiable, remember, and don't forget this. So I think we're saying 20,000, but 30% equity in the startup.
Could you do 20 for 20, and then it's just in the same proportions?
Remember, Chris, you're saving people's lives here.
Yeah.
I'll do 20 for 20, and I'm sure.
Quick, shake his hand.
Oh my goodness.
Shake his
Thank
hand.
you so
Hey.
much. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Well done.